Nation, Sanbonan Bafetu, and welcome back to Football Trends with me. We could be now, obviously, on today's video Bafetu and Petelizing in WSHSAB, and hopefully you guys have enough data because it's going to be a long one. But of course, before I give you everything, obviously I'm going to speak about Oswin And Velebayi and also Oswin And Velebayi. I didn't know they had the same agent. I just knew what obviously Kaizer was interested. I knew what Oswin And Velebayi was represented by Lance David, but I did not know what he also represented Oswin And Velebayi. But of course, today we're going to give you everything, even the truth to why Kaizer Chiefs failed to sign those players. Now, let me just give it to you, Bafetu, straight from the horse's mouth. But definitely, like a video before everything, and also do make sure you subscribe to the channel or click on the bell notification so that next time when I post a new video, you get notified. Now, Bafetu, before I give you everything, I'm happy with the source that has been giving me information, because I remember Kaizer Chiefs did go back to Polokwane City and they offered Polokwane City an improved offer, even though we've seen Omazola Jemulefe saying they are not offering them anything, but they did, offer them something. The first offer got rejected. The second offer was a bit better. They wanted to even add players on that, but deals did not went through. And on today's video, we're going to find out exactly what really happened in terms of those players, and why Kaizer Mtawong Jr. did not manage to sign those players. And Mtawong Jr. because I know a lot of people thought he was being interviewed with Robert Marawa. We thought ukuthi that means they're not doing anything. But to Kaizer Mtawong Jr. he did something. He did a lot. Actually, he was trying his best. But anyways, let's just take a look at this.
Don't be scared. And of course, on the other side, we've got Mazola Malefe at Super Journal, the man with no Instagram account.
Why do you have to remind me?
How you doing, bud? What do you have?
I'm good, Andile. Lots to discuss as usual, but I've got a guest. Brought Oswin And Velebayi's agent here.
Ooh.
He also looks after Oswin And Velebayi, so he'll give us the scoop.
What?
So no news from me. Let Lance Davids do all the talking.
So you've got in studio with you the man that takes care of Asavele as well as Oswin And Velebayi's business.
Absolutely.
The two transfers that every single Chiefs fan wanted before Friday.
And we want to know why they didn't happen.
Well, can't wait for it. Up to you.
As I said, we've got Lance Davids here, and this goes back to your interview a few weeks ago when we broke the story about Oswin And Velebayi, and we broke the story about Oswin And Velebayi as well. We had Alexei Stastio in studio, well, from Cape Town, but over the line, talking about the differences in terms of evaluation for the two players. I'm hoping Lance can give some clarity because they've not had their side. Some people are saying he shows up after the transfer window has closed.
What's the company called? What do you guys called?
Football First.
Football First. And you represent players both in South Africa, on the continent, in Europe?
And in Europe and also in South Africa.
Who are some of the players that we would know that you represent?
So we have the Bochum Mokoena, Aubrey Modiba, Velebayi, Oswin And Velebayi, Tashrik Matthews.
Oh, wow. So that's locally.
Yeah, we have some more junior that's coming up, Langelihe File from Stellenbosch. A lot of juniors that are also coming up that is going to be good and fantastic talent.
And you're based in Europe, so does this make it better for if players have the ambition to go to Europe? Does this mean you have a footprint in Europe?
Of course, that is my goal. I will try to bring as much as possible to Europe. That's always a goal. I always say it's very good for South Africans, especially how we do in internationals now with Bafana. But the price tags are unbelievable. Sometimes I think our owners will be looking at the European market and thinking that South African market are also the same. But it's
what
very
do you
different.
mean by that? What do you mean price tags? Which price tags?
Yeah. So example, we're looking at the big Premier Leagues, La Liga, the German leagues, what the teams are paying there, and they're expecting they can pay or evaluate the same player from the PSL to do the same coming to Europe, which that will never happen. Unfortunately,
South African players are overpriced.
Massively overpriced in my opinion, because I'm also in Europe, and of course I see what's happening in the European market, And I just see it will never happen, to be honest. I think if you look at our best player, we had Tebogo Mokoena for the last 2 years, the price tag, and of course, Sundowns are paying really good salaries to the players. And just sometimes I just think it's really overpriced, which it's not to blame. They are the big club in South Africa, but it's just difficult. And I don't say it, but never a European club is going to come and get a player from the South African league straight to Europe. They will do that when the player is in Europe, and they'll pay the hefty prices for Africans, but not straight from South Africa.
And you had a similar case with Thapelo Maseko, isn't it?
Yes, 100%. So we had an offer, I think 2 years ago, when Belgium club wanted to buy Maseko from SuperSport, and unfortunately the price was a little bit too high, and they didn't want to do the deal. And then of course, the fantastic Mr. Sundowns came and they bought Maseko.
I just wonder though. I mean, are European clubs not wanting to come here and just pick players up dirt cheap because we're in Africa? Or are we overpriced, or are they just not willing to pay because, we're in Africa? Is it not worthwhile to pick up players up for the prices that we're putting out, especially considering that if you look at South Africa, you look at some of the North Africans in particular, we pay rather good salaries to recoup that money. Are we not worth that money?
No, I won't say that we're not worth Andile. It's just, unfortunately, that's the market. And, I'm there in Europe, and the people are asking, but Bafana came third in the tournament. Why is no players not coming to Europe?
Yeah.
And, it's just the prices is crazy. Like, I would just say, Tebogo, what is this value going for 5 million? It's crazy. Oh, you know what players they can get for 5 million from the South American market?
5 million
euros.
5 million euros,
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let me, there's a calculator now here. 'Cause you know what that is. What is that in rand?
Yeah.
You can do it. Didn't know? I'll do the update.
Okay,
Can you update?
I've done the update. The conversion is on here. Mazzola, you
So
go
just
on.
times 18.
Yeah. I mean, we mentioned Thapelo Maseko. You mentioned Tebogo Mokoena also came back from the AFCON. I remember also interviewing part of the Football First hierarchy as well. Glenn Benkin.
No, can't be.
What?
96 million.
Yeah.
Who was priced at 96 million?
That's the valuations that's going around with the South African players, and it's very difficult.
96 million rands.
Yes,
that's crazy.
Okay, I don't know. It's not what I do. I just ask questions. I don't know whether that's high or not. But 96 million is a chunk.
But I mean, Sundowns are paid. We now know for a fact this is not something pie in the sky. That they paid 63 million for Arthur Salles from the club is in the second division in Belgium.
Second division. They're part of the City Group. Correct.
63 million. They paid 29.
And if you can pay 63 for Salles, you can pay 96 for Tebogo. Surely.
Yeah, so 100%. If you ask me, Andile, yes, of course you can. But again, coming from South Africa, from the PSL, it's one of the best leagues in Africa. But then if you go to West Africa, North Africa, you can get someone that is, I won't say the same quality, but they will get some player cheaper.
Maybe even younger.
Yeah, go to the Côte d'Ivoire.
Yeah.
Ghana, Nigeria, you pay 500,000, you pay $1 million at most.
And it's always these boys' dreams, I think the Tebogo wants to we want to try to make it the best he can. Still want to go try to Europe, but
surely not. Because my thinking then, Lance, is if you wanted Tebogo to go overseas, Tebogo wouldn't have been fighting for an extension at Sundowns.
Or signed it. He signed it till 2029, isn't it? Yeah, 2029.
Now we've got a best thing that's also coming up until, of course, not fighting, but then at the end, we have to look at also the player's future and how we go on. It's always not nice fighting with clubs, because the people always look at the agents that are, they want to fight, they want the more money, but we always have to look also what the player wants. It's always also taxing on players. They mentally, are we fighting behind the scenes? Sometimes, it's not a good thing. So then we look at the players, and the players advise us also. So it's always not the agents that's in the front line. We never want to be in the front line. Myself, I had my time, so I don't want to be always in the front line. So we always listen to our players also. But his dream is still Europe. We can still make it. Why not? They have the Club World Cup now coming up. They have the African Cup of Nations coming up, and then you have the World Cup. You never say never. And you also have the Middle East that's also open now for a lot of Africans also.
Very quickly, before we move on to the reason that Mazzola's got you, of course, to speak about the transfer window that just closed. Are clubs not able to, and we can look at an Oswin And matter in this in particular, but Tebogo as well, are clubs not able to sign deals that allow them to make that sort of money in the long run? If I sell at Tebogo for 40, but I put a clause, number one, for a bigger chunk of the sell-on possibly, or for a milestone every renewal of contract, so that I in time recoup and make that money. Are deals like that not a thing?
Yeah, it's very possible. It's done like it in Europe. It's done everywhere. But some of the South African clubs, they want their money all up in front. And I think they think that it also happen in Europe. But it doesn't work like that. They can get a guaranteed fee up front, and then with a lot of add-ons, for like you said, like milestones, playing certain type of games, winning a trophy, winning the Champions League, etc., etc.
Sell-on fees and that.
So the deals are very dynamic. But some of our people, or I would say a lot of the owners in South Africa, they don't understand these dynamics, and they want the money up front.
So in Europe, it's not, you're selling the player for 10 million, here's your 10 million.
Okay, 10 million is little in Europe. So
no, I'm just using it as an example.
No, example, but like I said, the big transfers, you're not getting a once-off payment. There's no chance they're paying the once-off payment. It's paid in installments, and a lot of bonuses on top of that also to get to that payment.
Masala, I've taken your time.
Yeah, I mean, the big question is what happened, Lance. Asanele, a lot have happened. I mean, both clubs, or maybe not Kaizer Chiefs, but Cape Town Spurs at least, coming out confirming that they were in discussions with Chiefs about Velebayi, congratulations to him. He's now the captain of the club.
I saw.
So, big statement that.
Another million to his head.
So maybe let's start with that one, and then we'll finish off with the police. What happened with Asanele we've heard from Alexi, but from your point of view?
So of course there was a lot of back and forth going. Of course Chiefs put in an offer. The value was too low for Cape Town Spurs. Chiefs came back with the second offer they gave. In my opinion, of course, that the valuation was very fair with players and add-ons. They also didn't accept that. They thought the valuation was low, and then they stopped just there. I think, in my opinion, of course, the valuation of Cape Town Spurs looking at Velebayi comparing to Oswin Pollis, it's a no-brainer. You can't compare Oswin Pollis to Velebayi at this point. What Oswin achieved in the last year. So I think the valuation of Velebayi was crazy. I think Chiefs, to be honest, was very fair on their proposal. I think, in my opinion, they could have still, if Chiefs was ready to go, they could have still add some more add-ons. Of course, they did not, because they thought they were also fair on their proposal, and the deal fell through. The fans or the people from the outside must always think it's never the agent. We can try as much as we want to, but at the end of the day, it's the selling and the buying club. If the buying and the selling club don't come to agreement, it just won't happen. Of course, there's things that they always say where players don't come train and players don't do that. Now, I'm not a guy like that, and I'm not an agent like that. I don't want to influence that, because at the end of the day, the deal doesn't happen like it did now. The clubs, they will victimize the players straight away. Oh, you did that, and you listen to your agent. So at the end of the day, if you look at Velebayi, he scored his goal today. He's been professional, and that's the mentality.
He's the club captain now.
Yeah, he's the club captain. Unfortunately, I hope there won't be another million to his head to that, because then they'll say, oh, we can't sell our captain for cheap. But like I said, the boys doing really well. Of course, when the deals doesn't happen, for us as agents, it comes to damage control, where we have to manage these players and give them and tell them, listen, you have to keep going. You still have a contract. Be professional. That's the most important thing in today's football. You got the job, and you have the contract. But of course, the next window come up in the next 3-4 months. We'll try our best. And of course, again, if Chiefs are interested, like I said, I hope the player will keep on going like that. Talk about consistency, and let's see and you'll be the same value or even more. But I hope the deal can happen, because I think he's a fantastic player. He came on the scene, especially in the COSAFA Cup, where in PE he was great.
Did Chiefs try to push on deadline day? One final push to try and make it happen? Maybe add a little bit extras there and there?
No, I think Cape Town Spurs, that's said straight, that's not the value. The boy also went. I think he spoke to the coach also, and the coach said also that's not the value that they wanted.
You speak of the boy. If he's speaking to the coach and he's trying to get understanding, I'm assuming from the club as well, did he want to go? Was he keen on this move? Was this something he wanted? And how is he now moving forward, Lance? When a big deal like that falls through, if it's what you really wanted.
Of course, until every player wants to play for Kaizer Chiefs or Orlando Pirates or Sundowns. He's now, of course, they got relegated. He's playing in the NFD. They want to play on the highest. It's every player's dream. Of course, it was a damper for him, and that's why I said that's the damage control that we also had to take care of. But we had a good chat with him internally, our team, and he's moving forward. He got the captain armband. He scored straight away today. They won. So looking forward. I hope everything can go well for him.
What do you think of the secrecy around? And I'm not going to talk about player salaries. Mm-hmm. I do think, though, And I respect the fact that players themselves saying protect us by not speaking about our salaries. I respect that. But I do think it would do something for the entire industry if everybody knew who was earning what, because then there'd be a gauge of players knowing what's out there. Because at the moment, there are players that earn less than 10,000. Because they don't know any better. They don't know. You hear that players are earning $1 million and $2 million. Some thinking that, and that's not true either.
You know, the disparities are crazy.
Yeah, I think it would be lovely if it was open like it is everywhere else. But I understand why it's not. So let's park that. But what do you think of the secrecy around transfer fees in South Africa? How much a player's worth?
Which is something, by the way, the transfer, you know, all about the transfer room has opened up that space now. We, at least from a Sundowns point of view, we now know the figures thereof.
Well, it's difficult.
Why is it that people don't want to speak about the numbers?
Because I think in South Africa it's disclosed. I think it's the law.
It's really not.
It's not the law.
I don't get it, Lance. Why won't people, like, why won't Cape Town come out and say,
we priced him went to Chiefs
at 10 million. That's where Velebayi is.
So if you look at it, I'll be honest, the offers that first was Captain Spurs wanted 12 million for Asanele. They came down to 10 million. And it was still, I think the valuation was still too high. And
what are Chiefs offering?
Chiefs are win for 5 million, plus players.
Do we know the players? Did they say which players?
No.
But it was 2 players is what we know.
Just said players.
All right, Mazar.
Should we move on to Aussie, or you still?
No, I'm good with Oswin. I mean, I wish for the young man a good year, because it's going to take some serious mental strength. To get back up, to be playing in the lower league when you had an opportunity to be part of what is seen as a renewal
and
at Kaizer
Chiefs.
Well, of course, and if you look at it, Cape Town Spurs also should be one of the teams that are also fighting to get promoted again. So it will be a good competition, but of course, it's still the second division
in North Africa. And then when the transfer window closed there, then he was available on the South African market. Why did he not move?
So Aussie was I would say, I really thought, I knew it's going to go to the wire with Oswin, just because of his situation. He was in high demand from North Africa. And the problem was, I think, if we're all honest, the truth, it was, they came in with the offer. The club owner accepted the offer, and he just went offline.
Okay. Nobody could get hold of him.
Brajwani, I know you listen to the show. He's a friend of the show. I love Brajwani. Give us a call, man. We'll meet there in Sentin. You know where.
So it was really difficult, because also dealing with North Africans is also difficult. They work late at night, and we work like normal hours. So it was also, it wasn't easy. And we thought we'd gone through it, and then unfortunately, the team Esperance found a replacement. And then
Elias, no,
it was not Elias. There was another player that wasn't. Elias was anyway going to go anyway. Okay. Then of course it was dragging on, and then of course the window went closed, and then was MC Algiers that came in afterwards, also, and and then we just also couldn't just find the owner of Polokwane. Struggling to get hold of him. We thought it would be the same price tag. We just couldn't get hold of him, unfortunately. And at the end of the day, like I said, it's fair enough. Like I said, the owner doesn't want to sell. It's very difficult, and difficult for everyone. Like I said, if the two clubs don't come to agreement, there's just nothing at all you can do as much as you want to. And at the end of the day, again, a deal that did not happen, where we can't say to the player, don't train, don't do this. Everyone has to be professional about it. But in a way, if I look at this deal that happened, it was really sad. I think what Oswin has done the last year, because Polokwane bought him from Pretoria Callies, and what he's done for Polokwane in 1 year, being the best player, called out for the national team, ended up third in with Bafana. It was, and then just the last Bafana games, he's been crucial. He was been really good, and for a player, I'm an ex-player now. It goes, you're just looking for that transfer to happen, and don't get me wrong, Polokwane has done great for him. They put him on the platform from being from the Motsepe and bringing him up to the PSL. So I'm not saying it's Polokwane is bad. No, I don't say that. I just said that they put him on the platform, and unfortunately, it didn't happen. In the last, I would say, 72 hours, Sundowns came in. They had a chat with Johnny, and then he just went offline again.
Even Kaizer Chiefs couldn't find him. Nobody could find him.
Yeah, Kaizer Chiefs was actually, to be honest, Kaizer Chiefs was really, really interested in him from the beginning, from the word go. We were trying to push. And I just, again, I was just thinking again, like Johnny also always wanted, or the club wanted one installment, and I don't
Wanted
think
all the money up front.
all money up front, and I just don't think Chiefs had the capacity to go. But I think there was a deal to make it. I think Junior was pushing, Evans Bobstake was also pushing hard to make this thing happen. But unfortunately, I don't know how it works.
So why didn't the Polokwane city chairman communicate that he doesn't want to sell instead of? I mean, I suppose you.
I think he
wouldn't know,
did, didn't he? He said, "I don't want to sell."
Well, how people are. I think our business people are. We try to drag it out till the last, where desperation comes in. But I don't think Mr. Johnny was desperate to sell Oswin even on the last hour. I thought really it would go on. Like I said, it would go on to the wire. But again, it didn't happen. And in my opinion, as an ex-player, it's really hard. So I think if you look at the deal that could have happened, it could have been perfect or the best scenario for everyone. Polokwane making the best they could out of the deal. Oswin
probably would have been their record transfer, given also maybe what they would have paid from Pretoria Callis to bring him on board.
Correct, and he could have also made a life changing for him and his family back in Cape Town. So again, it was again another damage control, which. Again, if you watch the game on the weekend, Oswin did again fantastically well. So the boys have to just keep going. And as an, I would always say, I don't like the word agent, but as an advisor or just things, we have to keep the boys on the toes and keep the head and just humble them, to the ground. And it's back again to the working stage where he plays again tomorrow against Orlando Pirates and show what he can. And hopefully, everyone can find Mr. Polokwane.
So, John Mkhaladi, president of Polokwane City, an astute businessman who has done well for that club. That club is against all odds when you're seeing clubs that don't have perhaps as much as what the Sundowns